Hello, I should say world. How are you out there? Thank you for being here early to join us. I know they're just piling in, except it says that. So anyways, thank you very much, guys, for coming in. I really do have some exciting things to announce, and that is that you've heard me talk about it. You've heard Josh talk about it, and you've heard Derek talk about it around the world, this protege. That's what this is all about, and we want to showcase one of the top three. And we'll want to just find out who he is. You can start to vote now. If you want to vote, you can do it under one condition, that you vote for Derek. Okay. You can go to theprotege.show and you can watch that, or you can vote for Derek on there. Now, hey, what I want to say is a couple things is to kind of set this up. Josh and I were coaches. All right. Right. Of our team. What was our team name, Josh?
Fire breathing rubber duckies.
That's right. You don't get creative like that. It's not ironic that we have one of the top three. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Pretty sure one of the other guys, it was like some states, like they ripped off some country band.
Right.
Like, come on. That's some weak sauce.
You know what
Tennessee,
we do?
Kentucky line or something.
We bring the heat, right?
That's
we
right.
Blow the fire, flaming.
Yes.
Let's go. Okay. So here's what we got. Josh and I kind of helped. We had about four people at the very beginning of this. They went through many weeks. So there were 70 of them that went to 11, that went to 5, and they had to complete challenges each one of those weeks. Except when they got to week 5, then the shit got real, right? Then they were graded to get to the top 3 based on what, Josh?
Based on production.
Premium times 12% average commission means booyah. That's what it was based on. And then Derek got to the top 3, right?
That's right. We knew from the beginning. That's why he was our first pick.
That's why he was our first pick. You can go back to the first episode and see where it was like a draft style.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure the Chicago Bulls drafted Michael Jordan with the 3rd pick that year, right?
Oh shit.
And I'm pretty sure
big shoes.
I'm pretty sure we got Derek with the 3rd pick in the draft. Coincidence?
That's not. I saw him.
I don't know.
Closer. And
he's
then
a closer.
I mean, we knew it was going to happen.
Dude lives in Illinois. I mean,
that's right.
Right up the road.
Exactly.
Right up the road in Shelbyville.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to Sloan and Keating, but I think there was some dude named like Sam Bowie that was drafted before Jordan. Like, I'm not sure which one is Sam Bowie, if it's Keating or Sloan, but
I don't know who's Sam Bowie. All right, so let's get on with this, because this is Derek Hayden. Derek Hayden is out of Shelbyville, Illinois. For everybody looking at the map or have a geographic mind, I'm in Edwardsville, as you know, right across the river from St. Louis. Go about 1 hour. What do you say? Hour and 15 minutes, probably.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Little bitty town on a beautiful lake. Lake, Shelbyville Lake. Derek, tell us about you. When did you get into this industry, man, and bring us forward to who you are? Tell all those people who you are.
Absolutely. So like you said, Derek Hayden from Shelbyville, Illinois, born and raised. Been in the industry for about 9 years now. I went to college, graduated from Murray State, played baseball there. So I was a scholar athlete. So I've always been pretty competitive.
You look like a baseball player.
There we go. What position do you think I played?
Second base.
Pitcher.
Southpaw.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Had a curveball. Kind of lost it in college, but at one point in time, it was pretty good. But anyway, played at Murray State, graduated from Murray State. So I always had a little bit of a drive to be competitive, and got out of college and I actually started working as a substitute teacher, and wanted to kind of coach, help with the baseball team and football team here at Shelbyville High School. And I knew that dealing with kids and, not to say that teachers aren't important, but I wanted to increase my professional potential and my income potential. So heard of this opportunity at a local agency called Shelbyville Insurance, and interviewed several times and got brought on board. Started as a small commercial producer, and never did, kind of settle into that role. I started doing it, but I started seeing some of the other producers in our agency selling some bigger accounts. And I was like, I don't want to do this $2,000 BOP stuff. I want to grow into some mid-market and also grew into some of the benefits. And so about year 2 and 3 was when I made that shift and started going into try to focus on the larger accounts and employee benefits. And over the course of time, I've done pretty good. I'm comfortable, but not satisfied. And that's kind of where the Protege came in. It was an opportunity for me to, get better and improve myself and put myself out there. And there's no doubt that's what it's done.
No, and it really has. And I give props to it. I make no money. You make no money other than making money off our clients from David Carruthers and Killing Commercial. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I tell these 2 young guys right back here all the time, 17 years of my agency, I sold completely different than I have the last 3. And my margins are better. It's a lot more fun. It's fun to prospect. It's easier to learn. We're not a commercial for that, but you benefited from that, right? And you took that seriously through every one of these weeks that we had, dude. You were taking the shit seriously, constantly on Zoom with Josh and I, like, hey, dude, how about this? How about that? How do I tweak this? Your social presence has been off the charts. If you're not watching, you're probably watching on YouTube. You might be watching on LinkedIn. You know, his presence is ginormous. So here he comes as a family man from a small town that tries to get into a national contest. He takes it on. He creates videos that were phenomenal. He works his way, and I know inside information, maybe it's been exposed to everybody. He was the #1 premium getter. So this is the guy right here. And so I hope that you go to theprotege.show. Let me throw it up there live. Editors, can you throw that up there? Thank you. Go to theprotege.com, or no, I'm sorry, theprotege.show and get that in there. Hit that Derek Hayden. He's at the top, because he earned that. It's kind of like the politician who always gets first. They always have a benefit because people are like, yeah, I'll just pick the first guy.
There we go.
That's right. Vote for D. Vote for D. D, what was the most exciting thing that you probably learned out of the Protege?
For me, it was, so I'm lucky. I've got some resources here at our agency that we've had for a long time. For me, the best thing that I learned was actually how to use those resources and tools to create value and sell more accounts and actually provide value to my clients. So
that's right.
In the past, it was always, I'm going to go in there and see if I can get a quote, and hopefully I'm a little cheaper than the incumbent. And by the way, if you come on board with us, you get access to this cool client portal that we can do. What the Protege taught me was how to lead with those tools and provide value up front, and instead of selling a product, sell a solution.
That's right, man. Instead of selling a product, sell a solution. Wow. All you millions out there that are hearing that around the world, even if you're in Israel trying to learn insurance, that right there is the answer, because you're trying to provide a solution. And I apologize for all these people calling. They just really can't get enough of our agency. So I don't understand.
They're probably calling to vote. That's more than likely what's happening.
Oh, that's what it is. I should probably answer. Hey guys, answer the phone. Not really. All right, so guys, so I've got a little bit of somebody that we're going to bring on here in just a second. He kind of got a drop in. I think someone gave him the key to get in, and I didn't do it, so somebody else did. But he's always welcome here. I know it was me. I mean, really, I was the one. I was the one. So Derek, let me ask you, Derek. One of the things, everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. David Carruthers. Now,
hey, is this the HubSpot users support forum?
You found us. You're here.
HubSpot, the #1 CRM/AMS in America. All right.
I love it when I talk about HubSpot.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing I want to ask here, Derek, because this would be one of my answers, and I want you to tell me if I'm seeing this right. One of the greatest things you learn about Protege was those resources and put them together. But I mean, doesn't it make the future of your career seem so much better? How old are you?
33.
33. I mean, you have to realize, and I know you have, because I've had these same talks with myself in the car going, holy shit, like I knew I was going to make some money in this, but I have an opportunity to really step it up. And so this Protege is great, but this shit is lining me out for the rest of my life. Am I wrong by thinking that?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, I was right about the time I actually started listening to the Power Producers podcast, and it was right about the pandemic time. I was trying to go outside a lot. That's the only safe place we could go. So had the earphones in when I was mowing, when I was walking, and I started to listen. That's about the time I really started to shift my mindset of I got to stop going out and trying to quote 500 accounts a month and maybe win 10% of them. So I started to listen to this stuff. I'm like, these guys, they are hitting every button that I'm trying to, connect with. So the protege mindset, like you said, it's shifted my mentality, and I'm not going back to how I did before. There's no way.
Right.
I should go back and see what my close ratio is since I started the protege, but there's not many accounts that I actually engage with after the first meeting that I haven't written. We'll talk about this later probably, but I passed on quoting a $500,000 work comp policy this year because
I was hoping you were going to bring that up. I wanted you to tell everyone what that was like for you.
Yeah. So something that nobody saw in the protege was once we made the top 5, it was, who was it? Me, Keating, Sloan, Webb, and Brady. Mm-hmm. So the 5 of us, obviously to make the top 3, it was up to our production. So once Carruthers announced that to us, he also announced that we had one account that we could engage with Carruthers on. It was kind of a get out of jail free card. It was the one time you could actually get help on the account to use that to sell it. And what was funny is that account I engaged with Carruthers on, I didn't even sell. But the answers that I got in that first meeting clicked with me and saying, this guy doesn't want any part of changing how they're handling their operations. They had I can't remember, their mod was like 1.3 something, and they had had a debit mod for like 10 years. And when you start asking some of those questions, we're okay with that. What we're doing is fine. And just some of that stuff, I'm like, this may not be a good opportunity. And had I told myself that in my first year or two, I'd have been punching myself because, dude, that's a $500,000 account you just got a meeting with, and he backed out. But I said, okay, I think it's best that we don't engage any further. And if you want different results in the future, I'd be happy to meet with you again. So, that was something, the stuff I learned on that one account that I didn't write led to, I think, leading production in the protege, because
Here's what America's thinking right now. They've heard Derek say he doesn't want to write 50 accounts a month, and he's walking away from $500,000 workers' comp accounts, right? I heard it. I don't want to quote 500 and write 10%, which would be 50 accounts a month, and I'm walking away from 500. So people, if you want to be big, you got to think big, and this guy's got it figured out. You have to walk away from the $500,000 account sometime, because it makes you a prostitute if you write it. You just have defined how much it costs for you to whore yourself out. And if Derek would have written that, profitability wouldn't have been equal to what it is on other accounts of similar size and shape that he may be engaged with. And he diminishes his value proposition to everybody else in his book of business because he spends a skewed amount of time with an account that doesn't fit the ideal profile.
That's something we don't think about sometimes, is neglecting our own clients do that we're running after something we shouldn't. Hey, David, what has the protege been for you? I mean, this is something that you and I talked about. If anybody's listening, please listen to me clearly. He called me, asked me what I thought about it. I told him it would never work. I'm on record saying that I was absolutely wrong. I hope my wife is listening. And I was absolutely wrong for this. But since then, David has exploded into what it is. TBS, CBS, all of them are hitting. They're wanting to do a series on HBO. They moved Jordan out of the way. How's this been for you?
I mean, Jordan played out anyhow. My G5 is better than his G4. So, no, it's interesting, man. It's been a cool experience for me. It's been humbling to see those people that have not just participated. That's the obvious part. It's the stuff that nobody sees behind the scenes. It's the people that reach out and send the literally daily emails telling me, hey, I saw this episode of this. And this from having your podcast and everything. People reach out to us all the time. And so, the way that I look at it is that I really think that it hasn't necessarily hit the level of impact that it's going to have. And the reason why is because there's a lot of people that watched an episode or 2 episodes and they flagged it to come back and watch it later, and they haven't made the time to go back and do that yet. But now that this thing resides on the internet full time in perpetuity, there's going to be a lot of people that find it and go back and they watch this stuff. But, probably the coolest thing that I've seen, and truthfully, all I did was quarterback this thing, man. I was the idiot that came up with the idea and the guy that had the wallet to finance it and make it happen. But, by the way, for those people who wonder, there were no sponsors for the show. So if you are somebody that would have sponsored, probably can go ahead and reach out to me now. I take reimbursement as much as I do sponsorship up front. But anyhow,
season 2.
Yeah, it's the people. Well, and if you're coming to BrainShare virtually or live, you're going to hear all about season 2, because that's about the only thing I'm going to talk about when it's my turn to talk about the protege. But
a little bit of an inside.
It's the creativity and the drive of the people who participated, right? It's seeing that different people can solve the same problem different ways, more creatively, and then hearing from people that were in the audience how much they learned or how much they enjoyed the perspective of the individual contestants. And we live in a weird world now, man, where people can hear you on a podcast or watch you on YouTube or whatever else, and they feel like they're part of your family, they're part of your circle of friends. And so all of the contestants endeared themselves to the audience as they went through. And I mean, there's people. Derek Hayden's a household name in some households at this point. I mean, he's got a large following and people supporting him.
Now, David, so we have Ryan Keating. We're going to say their names once. And then we also have Justin Sloan, okay, which are 2 studs themselves. Do not get me wrong, okay? There's make no bones about it. I mean, Derek's 4 of them, but that's okay. They are good comparison to who they're trying to measure themselves up to be. Now, how has this been when you went from 5 or when you went from 11 to 5? And I really don't care about everybody else, but how is this for Derek? Like what did you see from the time he was coming down to get to where he is now?
So it's kind of interesting, man. If I had to pick who was going to be the top 3 from the very beginning, I'm sure a lot of people say stuff like this. This is the God's honest truth. This is the top 3 I expected to see. Yeah, I really did.
I agree.
If you Brady did an awesome job in the competition. He has got a gift for putting together video and marketing, but
yes,
I called it. I pegged Brady in that he has another business interest that distracted his time and he couldn't devote 100% of his attention to it. And it is what it is, man. This is life. That's why it's real. There's not really much editing that goes into this, but I think that when you look at the 3 people, it's kind of weird because they're all 3 the same age too. Even though Keating looks like he could be my dad's brother, he's just lived a really hard 33 years. True story. But I came home from work the other night and we had just dropped his episode of the podcast because we had the top 5 on there. And my wife had seen his artwork in her news feed, but she didn't pay attention to it being protege. And she knows Ryan. She's met Ryan before. But I walk in the house. She goes, "You didn't tell me you had the guy from The Prophet on the podcast."
I'm sorry. I want everybody to remember. I know you're watching. I don't know when you're watching or how you're watching, but you're probably watching from somewhere. Remember, even in the UK watching, you can still go to theprotege.show. And I mean, we're giving you ideas of who Derek is. I mean, some of his things, if you go to, where did you post the video where you did your most recent one where you were in a San Antonio, Texas thing? Where did you post that at, Derek?
That's on LinkedIn. It's on my personal Facebook. It's on my business Facebook. I even think I put it on Instagram on my personal and business pages.
We've got videos of you months back when you were riding on your 4-wheeler and doing things. And I remember when we were creating, you have to keep in mind, everybody, Derek created his niche. He created his whole proposal and how his thought process was going to be, his marketing. These are the things that you get to see as you go through the protege. And then execution. I remember week 5, 6, 7, can't remember, have to watch it. He totally screwed up. David called me and said, dude, something's wrong with your guy. He's off. Yeah. And it wasn't that bad, but Derek was competing at such a high level. And then David gets real in that episode and talks about how that was. And so even as a champion, like I am, and Josh is, we sometimes are going to stumble, but it was the beauty of David and the other support staff that he had to kind of get him back up into where he needed to be. So these are the reasons why you need to watch this. It's a real reality show that
this is a roadmap, man. It's not even that. You could take this and make it a training program for anybody who's trying to become a middle market commercial producer. While we don't give you the secret sauce that we give in Killing Commercial, because then it's not just, hey, go try this. It's here's exactly how you need to do this. It's been proven to work for 20 years. Completely different thing. It's interesting to see general concepts and people's take on that. But if you're a producer and you're looking to move into the middle market, or you're a salesperson and you're new to the insurance industry and you understand sales but not insurance sales, if you watch this show from beginning to end, you are getting a masterclass in how to build a middle market book of business from 11 people around the country for free. Absolutely no charge to you for that. And so that's something I think that's important, man. The people, every single one of them, all 11 of the people that had the balls or the guts to stick their name in the hat and even try this and put themselves out there. Anybody that wants to be critical of those people gets a double middle finger from me for that, because people had the guts to go try something that nobody else was trying. But the thing that's disgusting to me more than anything else about our industry is you can have things just like this that are out there in plain view for everybody and their brother to access and use. And the people in our industry will sit and quote and hope and pray that they can somehow buy groceries and pay the electric bill next month, because they can't understand why they're not building their book of business, but they don't get off their rear end and just go get the free resources that are available.
And then they try to hate on us, trying to say that, hey, you don't really know how to sell. And I say, no. Coffee's for closers. And that's what we do around here. And we're trying to provide, what'd you say, Derek? A solution.
There's exactly my Glove Box coffee mug right there, man. I know they're your boys. They're my boys too.
Boom.
Coffee tastes just as good out of a Glove Box cup as it does Florida Risk.
How about that? Did you see those boxes I got set up right there?
I had to send you 4, man. You got shaky hands. So if you already dropped one, I just figured I'd set you up for success.
One came in the package, broke. Promise. I still got it wrapped up.
Hey, my handle broke too. I don't know if you can see it. I glued it.
That's what mine did.
I glued it.
Mine's perfect.
If you're not drinking coffee from a cup with a broken handle, are you really Midwestern grit? I mean, come on, man.
Better believe it, man.
Hey, Derek.
You know what? In all seriousness, if you look at the top 3, and I can't come on here and advocate that anybody vote for anybody in particular. You guys do whatever you want. But I want to make sure my other contestants understand, if they had come up with having a Facebook Live and streaming it, I'd have been on theirs too. It's just a matter of Derek did and they didn't. But that being said, these 3 guys are probably the most evenly matched across the board. And it couldn't have boiled down any better. I mean, some of it had to do with me. Some of it had to do with people just not being able to manage the amount of time that it took to get through this. Just not in terms of the weekly challenges as much as this thing, because of COVID, ended up dragging on much longer than we thought. It was originally only going to be like 3 or 4 months. And here we are almost a year later from the time I originally announced it, right? And so the 3 that are there because they listened to exactly what I said and they heard the message. And that was, number 1, you're going to have to actually use these things. Number 2, you're setting yourself up to make a lot of money going forward. So this isn't a game. This isn't a competition. This is real life. You're just exposing what you're doing in real life, and you're actually going to be able to use this. But most importantly, of everybody we've got, these 3 guys were the ones that understood they needed to make those deposits into their social accounts, period.
So we're going to wrap this up in the next 3 to 5 minutes. No. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I hit a button on my keyboard. Okay. We're going to wrap this up in the next 3 to 5 minutes because everybody needs to get back to work. But I wish, if you want to listen to us, you can always find us at Agency Intelligence, the insurancepodcastnetwork.com, or you can find us there at Power Producers Podcast. What do you have a URL on that, David? What is that?
Yeah, it's powerproducerspodcast.com. Points right back. Everything I've got's on Killing Commercial. It just points to a tab on there anyhow.
It's kind of the funnel. So anyways, hey, but we want to get something. Josh, you had a question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I got two things, Derek. Being in the protege, what has it meant for people in your life, your family, the people in your office? And then why should people vote for you? Give us your one elevator pitch for the end to send everyone off. Yeah,
I wasn't prepared for this one. As far as changing my life and the people around me, I will say I'm definitely, the stuff I'm doing is rubbing off on people in my office, especially some of the producers. They're seeing, hey, those questions are kind of unique when we go into first meetings or we talk about getting an account. And you can see that, especially one guy in particular, he's absorbing the information, and between he and I, we are both killing it this year.
Good.
And, it's one of those things that the better I get, the better the people around me get, and vice versa. So no doubt it has helped not just me, but the people around me. I try not to make it too big of an issue at home. My wife is the most supportive gal ever. And so I try not to make it, I'm on a reality show. So, look at me. I try to just keep it, hey, I did this on the reality show. We watched it together a few times. So,
dude, you still gotta earn her vote, man. I mean,
exactly. Exactly. She sees the bank account, so she's appreciative of that side too. So, and there's no doubt the protege has helped me with that. What was the second question? Oh, my elevator pitch for voting for Derek.
Yeah. Why should people vote for you other than, I mean, you are the best. You are the winner, but
there we go.
Yeah.
So,
let's remind everyone.
I'm a pretty average, ordinary dude from the Midwest. I see where this has taken me from, like you said, I just kind of a down home country dude from Shelbyville, Illinois. No one knew who I was, to now, I've created something through the process of the protege that, is never going to fade away. I'm going to keep these resources and these tools. What's cool, what's humbling about this whole situation is the last, since voting is opened, you don't realize how many people you are touching through the process.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having people from California, Texas, all over the country send me LinkedIn messages or emails and say, hey, dude, I just got done voting V4D. So there's people that have been watching this that I have never met. I have never even talked to. And they've been, it's funny because I say I have a fan base, but it's one of those things that it's pretty cool to watch. And then my hometown, dude, I'm telling you, being from a small town, you can make it a negative if you want to, but I tell you one thing is when you need people in a small town, they show up, and they're showing up right now. They're V and 4D like you all should at home. So vote for the underdog from a small town. Let's bring it home to Central Illinois. And that's my pitch for voting for Derek.
That's right.
That's
right. I love it, man. I love it. Good questions, Josh. Good questions. Because everybody knows that those who listen to Josh usually win or hit hole-in-ones. One of the two.
This is true.
He's had two in the last 2 years. Pretty amazing. So thank you. Once again, I'm going to wrap it up. Does anybody have any last things to say? David, anything? Derek said his. Josh, anybody?
Hey, if someone wants to come to BrainShare last minute, can they get in?
Oh, absolutely. They can get in virtually, or they can fly. One of the two.
There you go.
I got to tell you, man, I just went to I forget what they call it on election night, the whatever the desk is that they talk about with the results.
No, that's the war room.
I don't remember what it is. All I'm going to tell you is it's too early to call. I'm looking at the real-time results right now, and these guys still have a fight.
Oh, there's a fight going on. Yeah, there's a fight. As we're voting every hour here, I mean, at
some point you're going to run out of IP addresses, Pat.
VPNs.
You better believe it. Oh, man, this is great. This is great. I'm trying to get Bogus, because he's got like 60 people. I'm trying to spread this around. No, I really didn't. But anyways.
Hey, did you know what?
Remind me, we need to do that.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for everybody who watched around the world.
I
apologize for you in the UK. It looks like there was an overload on your switchboards. So you may have missed half of this and part of this. That's okay. You can vote as well, even if you speak or if you're from Lithuania. We take them all the way from Afghanistan. So thank you. Remember, go to theprotege.show. It's tricky. Theprotege.show. Okay. That's what that's for. And you're going to click Derek Hayden. Okay. I want to say vote for D. It doesn't say that. It says, who do you want to vote for? Is the first one at the top. Just click. Okay. And be sure to use all the phones in your house. Use all the computers in your office. As long as there's a person sitting there, they may not be there today, but they would have voted or they wouldn't have had a job. Maybe that's the reason why they are empty. See that person there? They decided to vote for somebody else. So that's why it's empty.
Yeah. Good choice. Right, kick them out.
Yep. You're out. You're out. Hey guys, really do appreciate you. Come on, get out there and vote for Derek. I mean, he's really, really worked hard. He really, truly has. At the end of the day. He's outpaced everybody. He's done what he needs to do. So once again, thank you. You're probably watching this on Agency Intelligence, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you are. Thanks for taking your time to watch this. Vote for D.